Events happen that change our lives. Dealing with change is what we do. We discuss with industry professionals objective solutions to work through cherished items and family memories. When we go beyond the gavel, we provide tools and information to deal with these crisis times. Hi everybody, it's Shane Feely with Auction Solutions. Today we're going to go behind the gavel with Dan Hanneman and Annalie Klein. They are members and owners of Still Point Massage. And Dan, do you have some information for us today, and how can we help our seniors?
Wow, yes, the seniors can really benefit from massage. Take into consideration maybe a balance is an issue, or just being susceptible to infection maybe. Massage moves the lymph system, which is a big part of our immune system, and a lot of people don't know, but you actually need to mechanically move your lymph, which means, or the way it's naturally set up is the lymph nodes are in places that get squeezed. So you can imagine that a whole massage everywhere is going to really boost that.
Wow, that's great. And keep them maybe a little more limber.
A little healthier, and limber in the structural sense. So it's going to be passive on their part. They don't have to do anything except maybe enjoy it.
Yeah, well that's nice.
Their muscles get manipulated, their blood gets pushed, and lymph, and the connective tissue gets loosened up. So a trip may not end in a fall if they're able to move quicker and faster and better to stop them. So.
Oh, that's great. So let's talk about the whole massage. When people think about a massage, it's like, oh, I went on vacation and I had a massage. But there's more benefits to having them more frequently, aren't there?
Definitely, yeah. I suggest at least once a month.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of people get them every week. It can be a financial consideration, but once a week is optimal.
Wow.
Really. Yeah.
And
there's, of course, the medical side, which I sort of just got into.
Sure.
And that can also affect your mental self and your emotional self as far as stress.
Wow.
We interpret stress the way our biological body reacts to stressful situations as it would have an actual threat, like a tiger or a wild boar in the area. You got to run or fight or hide. So our bodies still react that way.
Oh, even though we don't have those
right.
types of threats.
It's mostly social.
So what's happening to cause that fight or flight now, Dan?
It's just the way we're wired.
Just wired like that?
Yes, and so the fight or flight gets balanced by the rest and digest. It's two sides of the autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. They're designed to work in union. One's active and then the other one's supposed to counterbalance.
I see. So
and I'm afraid I can see that even my own, life, I'm too much in the fight or flight.
Is that because it's stressed, or you're...
Stress.
I mean, do people stress too much with everything that's going on right now in our lives?
Everybody's different.
Sure. Oh, okay.
But I'm sure everyone has their own stressors.
So when I come in for a massage and I'm in there, what, about a half an hour or so, are there different types of massages? What are you as a massage therapist really looking for? Are you looking for a knot in the middle of the back, or just generalized discomfort?
I talk to the person. I determine what to do as I go.
I see.
And I've studied a lot of different modalities, that is techniques, and I can draw from this or that as I think I should.
Oh, that's great. So do you have any specialties that you guys are working on at Still Point Massage now?
Yes, actually the name Still Point comes from a therapy called craniosacral therapy.
Okay, tell us about that.
Well, in the craniosacral therapy, you work with the central nervous system, which is the brain and spine and this cerebral spinal fluid around all that and inside. And when you get skilled at perceiving very slight movements, you can feel the bones of the skull move and feel the flow of that fluid. And when that motion stops, that's a still point. And the idea is at that time, things rearrange and hopefully some sort of traumatic pattern dissipates.
Oh, I see.
During that still point time.
Okay.
It's like a reset.
That's when you're really, really relaxed.
When you're really, yeah, you get to stillness.
I see. That's great.
As the practitioner, you know, it's very mellow. It's very still, but I've got to be driving the bus, so to speak.
Sure.
You know? And the client at that point just goes out. And of course, I've been the client too, and I experience it as not sleeping, but I know I'm awake, I know I'm where I am, I know what's happening, and it feels great. It's just so deep. It's deep into that parasympathetic side.
Wow. That would be kind of a nice thing to have once a week.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, not too long ago, you were talking about veterans and assisting veterans with PTSD. Are you, how's that working out? Is that going great?
We're experiencing a pause in that due to the government rearranging things, but I am confident that we'll start up again very soon.
What type of responses did you see with the veterans that you were treating?
Oh gosh, that was a great experience in my career. It's sort of like taking someone off the street who doesn't know anything about massage and wouldn't seek it out,
Sure.
but the veteran's doctor prescribed it, and they're just blown away at like how effective it is. And I'm sure that's part of why they're continuing with it, because of the feedback from the veterans saying this works.
Is there any type of a situation that is more requiring of that type of a still point than others? I mean, is it loud noises, bombs?
PTSD.
It's just the
And
PTSD, the trauma.
Trauma in general, and you know, everyone's experienced trauma.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, especially veterans and what they're dealing with, and I'm so glad to be involved with them. There's so much suicide going on.
A lot. A lot of veterans are
I
resorting
know
to suicide.
we worked with at least 2 veterans that are talked about suicide. Not that we were meant to address that, but
No, certainly.
they didn't kill themselves.
That's awesome. Well, just feeling better makes everybody, you know, try to live a little bit better.
Yeah, right. It can give you, you know, you get to that still point and you realize, wow, life is pretty good.
Yeah. No worries for that moment. Annalie, what are you doing with still point massage?
Well, I came on board just recently, and what I'm trying to do is get the word out about Still Point. Getting an online presence, also reaching out to businesses, because another thing that we've begun to do is bringing chair massage to the workplace, so
Really?
that we will actually come to the business, you know, set up a couple of chairs, have a few therapists there, and go ahead and do 15-minute chair massages for employees. And I think it definitely would it benefits everyone in the workplace to just have
Absolutely.
that, you know, even if it's just the slightest touch, it makes a huge difference.
I think sometimes we get so busy out there that we don't touch enough. You shake
Exactly.
hands or do the barbecue bump, but I hug all the time.
Right.
But not everybody does, and I think that that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think most employers should maybe think about
Well,
that
it's-
as a benefit for their employees.
Right.
It is, and it's a special thing that they can bring now. I mean, if they want to have their employees even, you know, fund some of this, you know, however they want to work it out. But we're glad to bring the chairs or tables to the workplace,
Oh, wow, that's
instead of them
great.
having to come to
It's
us.
good for the employees' health and
Yeah.
their morale at work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
To feel
I mean, if you
appreciated,
can.
to feel cared for.
I can see I think massage makes everybody feel good,
Yeah.
so that would be awesome.
It's always the most popular thing at a health fair.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody sits at the chair, and there's usually
There's
a
a
line.
line.
Yeah, there's a line.
That's
so.
awesome.
And yeah, unfortunately, that's the 10 minutes of massage they get per year.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I've met a lot of my clients that way, and they realize the benefit and come periodically.
Oh, that's great. So what are your plans for the future? Are you adding more massage therapists and growing your business? And
Right. I did expand my business to meet the needs of the VA. So we've got 7 therapists working
Wow.
with us. Not all full time.
Sure.
We've got 3 men and 4 women. Very experienced people. They're all great practitioners.
And now you've studied for a long time the massage and body work and things like that. When you blend them together a little bit, and I know you don't do that for everybody, but do you have different techniques you use for different applications or different people?
Yeah, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've studied a lot of different techniques. I never really plan anything, but it's in the moment that I realized, yes, I should use that.
Sure. That's great.
You know, sometimes we have clients that specifically want something, you know, and that's definitely can be done. But I think sometimes, I know I've gone and had a massage before wanting one thing, but by not asking and by talking to the therapist to kind of let them know what's going on with me, it helps them to pick the modality that has worked.
You
So,
bet. I know I've had deep muscle massages as advertised at
Right.
the location I went to, and it was different. I didn't feel a flow all the way through, and I think when you leave, you should really feel a flow.
Right, and that would be at a spa situation.
Yes.
So where that therapist is an employee, not, an entrepreneur, not working for themselves. I think there's just a different attitude. There can be,
There
and
might
they're not thinking very deeply about it. Maybe they're just thinking, well, it's a job and it's mechanical.
20 minutes and I'm out of
It's
here.
mechanical. I go through this process and sequence.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit more about our elderly people, because we are not only trying to keep them from falling and or having a catastrophic issue, but just their overall well-being. Because I think when they're alone a lot, they may become a little depressed. So do you do home visits as well?
Certainly.
Okay.
We'll charge a little more, but yeah, another thing with the elderly, and I've worked with people that are facing death.
Sure.
And that is a stressor. That's probably the biggest event
think?
in our lives,
Yeah.
right? So to get a good idea about what is going to happen in your life, get more
Sure.
comfortable in general,
Just some
I think it can help.
relaxation.
I'll
You
just say I've seen it help.
Well, they talk about the laying on of hands and
That's
helping people, do the crossover, and
Yes.
that's very, very effective. So I could see where you're going with that.
Yeah, there's been massage in hospice situations and AIDS. Well, that goes back a few years before the medication, but when people were dying of AIDS.
I can imagine there was probably some terror going on there.
Right.
Wow.
Cancer,
Sure.
I've worked with several cancer patients too.
I can imagine just feeling better, especially, well, what about toxins? We talked about the lymph nodes,
yeah.
but is there a reaction when the lymph nodes do?
It can, yes. It can be what they call a healing crisis, where you actually feel bad. You
Really?
might get sick, you might get a cold, or just feel bad, or skin eruptions, because we did give that super boost to the lymph system.
Wow, and just by massage.
And then the body's dealing with getting rid of that. So massage
Absolutely.
helps the bad things leave and the good things get in,
Well,
nutrients
yeah,
and oxygen.
Absolutely. I had a massage one time, and I got little red dots afterwards. What was that caused from?
Probably what we just talked about.
Oh, the the bad stuff going out through my
Right.
skin.
Yeah, perhaps.
Okay.
I don't know the situation, but maybe the oil or cream they used wasn't
No,
right
I don't
for
think
you.
so. It just, and it's happened more than once. And actually, my mother went in for a massage, and she had the same thing happen. And she had been through chemotherapy twice. So I think she had quite a bit going on there. And she said, "Look, I've got little red bumps." And I said, "I think they're okay." I think if they were big red bumps, we'd worry. But they
Did
were
she
just,
go back for another massage?
Yep, she
Oh,
did.
good.
Yeah, she thought it was great. And once she figured out what was happening,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's, you know, if you don't know, you don't know, which is why you're here.
Right, and not to scare people off about that, once you get healthier, then that doesn't happen.
Oh,
You might feel actually elated and light and
wow.
just having a good day.
The massage is a great thing then.
Absolutely.
So what are your hours over there at Still Point?
It's all by appointment. You can book online, stillpointmassage.org.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
And
we're flexible.
okay, that's great. So you're doing veterans, and we've talked about, you know, our little old people, because we just want them to feel better, and we want mom and dad to enjoy their golden years in their life, and we don't want them to, you know, be falling down and breaking things, or having things break and then fall down. Tell us some of the advantages just of the manipulation, and tell me how that
Yeah,
works.
I think improve your quality of life, really, you know, because it feels good,
Yeah.
and good feelings lead to good things, I believe.
Yeah, they say the secret is positive out, positive back.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of puts you in that positive place,
The
doesn't
law
it?
of attraction.
Yep, that's right. Well, that's great. So do you recommend any, if people ask you about diet and things like that, do you have input on that at your facility?
Oh, I do. I suggest just keep it real, keep it balanced, know about the glycemic index, which is a balance of carbs, fiber, protein, sugar, fat. You need a lot. You want a lot of fiber to balance out those
Sure.
other things.
I know I was reading the sugar packets at the cafe the other day, and they have the yellow one, the pink one, and the green one, and they all are sugar-free, and they all have dextrose in them.
Right.
So that's how you're sugar-free if there's dextrose. I'm just wandering here, but I was just one of the things that I looked at. Everybody wants a healthier diet, yet the stuff they give us to make it healthier supposedly is not
Yeah,
really as
it's
good.
still empty.
Yeah. So what do you suggest? Just eat an apple every day, and I mean,
Keep
come
the doctor
on, you
away.
you have some. I know you have some things that you.
I know a lot of people that cut out wheat and feel much better, or gluten. Of course, that would be wheat plus other things.
Sure.
Um,
But not
you
everybody.
know, avoid fast food for sure.
A lot of the prepared stuff's pretty tough too, isn't it?
Can be.
I mean,
Just read
it's-
the ingredients, and so keeping it real is like the bottom line, I think.
Sure.
If there are words that are like chemically,
You can't pronounce
In
the
the
seven
chemistry
digit, the
book.
seven
You might not
syllables.
want
Maybe
to keep that.
Well, Annalie, what do you like to add this afternoon?
Well, I'd like to add that massage is for everyone. That Still Point will come to you, and we will also have our doors open for clients.
That's great.
And we hope that that the viewers are learning a little bit more about what we have to offer and what is going to be beneficial for them, regardless of who gives it.
Absolutely.
you know.
No, that's great. And I know you've put together a really good team, and I know that you're, pretty solid in what you're able to do, and I think that that's great. We have a couple of more minutes. Would you like to tell us an example of someone that came to you and give us a little?
I'll tell you an example of I happened to see this person after I worked on him, with him. He was scheduled for neck surgery. I don't really know the details.
Sure.
But I worked with him one time, I think, and I ran into him somewhere, and he said, "Oh, thank you very much. I canceled my surgery."
Wow.
So I don't know what happened after that.
Sure.
But that's an example also of, it's hard to put the credit where it should be with prevention. If you prevent something, you don't know what didn't happen.
Right.
And so this is really, you know, the best thing about it is preventative, precaution, or you know, maintenance of your own body. And I think you should see your body as your resource.
Okay. So you're definitely an advocate for coming in more often and getting a massage. And you know, of course, we want everybody to walk a little bit more, and
Right.
and we would like our seniors to be able to do more exercises and stuff. But with the manipulation of a therapist, it kind of helps us along that path to
Yeah,
keep
and I
them in
would
good health.
stress the passive part of it on their part. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's like someone else is exercising your body for you
That's not a bad thing.
in a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
The lymph, and I mentioned also the digestion. You can do this is all soft in here, you can really push on the colon and get that moving.
I know some people have a problem with that too,
Yeah.
which is the
Right.
fiber in the apple.
That,
And I talk about
yes.
that, but yeah, absolutely. That's very important.
That is very important.
Because it's all about, you know, cleansing our body daily. And
If you're what they call impact, if you have impaction on your colon walls, that can turn into what is it called? Autotoxification, I think, which can lead to death.
That-
And it's a slow.
sounds like very
Nasty
painful. Yeah. Well, I know that we have to do everything we can anymore to avoid all the additives and preservatives and that they're putting in our foods. But it's nice to know that if I, you know, decide to go have a massage, you know, someplace that is really going to work with, you know, my wellness needs, which is really important.
And this can address addiction, not directly, like we don't have to talk about it, but people can be addicted to saccharin or,
Yeah,
you know,
I think
diet
they can.
pop, especially things that are in our food and drink that we know we shouldn't have, but our body tells the brain we want it.
Yeah.
We want more of that. So when you can step back mentally and feel that, you know, what decisions am I making
Sure.
about these things?
Sure, and I know that you are a pretty good, knowledgeable person. If somebody had a question about what they were doing, that you'd be able to help them out,
Absolutely.
you know, to make better decisions. I know that's real important.
Right, and I'm not making any claims on anything.
Oh, absolutely not. No. It's all suggestions.
Massage is the manipulation of soft tissues of the body.
All right, well, that's great. Anything else you'd like to tell us? A little infomercial or?
Let me just check my list. It helps every system of the body. And like we were in 5th grade health class, you learn about each system. That should be general knowledge. If we still knew that, then we would know, okay, if this is a problem, then I guess I should address this thing.
Sure.
And modern medicine tends to give you a drug for it.
Yeah, which isn't a solution.
Of course, they, you know, standardly say diet and exercise and
Right.
attitude.
So they need to say
Which
diet, exercise, and massage.
We need to take that on, yeah.
Right, and then you know,
Yeah.
and you can also, as he's been discussing too, is that, you know, for someone who can't really, isn't as ambulatory as they would like to be,
Sure.
that just having someone working on them is going to actually help. So if you can't, you know, lift your legs all the time, but you've got someone that's massaging those muscles and that tissue, that's the exercise that can help you.
Dan Hanneman, it is so nice to see you. I've known you for 20 years from Still Point Massage. Annalie Klein, it is so nice that you joined us here today. Thank you so much for being here and talking about massage beyond the gavel.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you.